So in example 2, we have an inequality. And I have brackets. I have an x squared. I need to solve this. How do I solve quadratic equations? I need to make one side equal to 0. Can you see that you could distribute to get rid of the brackets? Right? Because in a quadratic formula, we don't have any brackets. And now, if I want to make one side equal to 0, I can choose either the left side or the right side. Personally, I always find it easier to factor if the number in front of the x squared is positive. So I'm going to move everything to the left-hand side. I'm going to add 3x squared to both sides. Still have the minus 8x. I'm going to have to subtract 3. And that would make the right-hand side of my equation equal to 0. And like I said before, 99% of the time, these will be factorable. So I would try factoring first. If you try to factor, what's the only way you could get 3x squared? First ones have to be 3x and x. And now, the last one is a 3. It has to be 3 and 1, but it's going to make a difference if you use 3 and 1 or 1 and 3. So you have to think about your outside and your inside. You need to get 8. I need to put my 3 here to get 9 and my 1 here, because 9 minus 1 will give me 8. Now I need a negative 8, so I would need my 9 to be negative and my 1 to be positive. Factored nicely. We split it up. X can equal 3, or x can equal negative 1/3. And we can draw our number line. Negative 1/3 here, 3 here. Draw our circles, and ask ourselves, should I fill them in, or should I leave them open? And in this case, we have the equal sign, so we fill them in. Take your time filling. It's like, you don't get to color much in high school. Like staying within the lines. These are things that you learned in like element. It's kind of the relaxing part in the middle of the question. Filling in those circles. Well, then just make your circle bigger. Then you're fine. So, these ones get filled in. And that felt good to color inside the one. Now we've got test points to check. What's your easiest test point to check? 0. 0 would be in which section? In this case, it's the middle section. Not always. Does it make sense that 0 won't always be in the middle section? But in this case, it is. If I plug in 0, okay, I can either check here or my factored form. Plugging in 0 here. You see you get minus 3. Less than or equal to 0? True or false? True. What about something bigger than 3? I'm going to choose 10. And I'm going to use the factored part. Can you see if you plug in 10 here, this is positive, this is positive. No mental math required. Positive number times positive number will be false. Try something less than negative 1/3. And again, I'm going to use the factored one. I'm going to try negative 10. Can you see that for sure this will be negative? For sure this will be negative. A negative times a negative is positive. Is a positive number less than 0? No. This section will be false as well. And in quadratics, okay, when we think about the graph, again, here, to check, we'll use the graph. We know that our x-intercepts are at 1, 2, 3. X-intercept at 3 and negative 1/3. This parabola, because the a value is positive, would open up. What are we trying to find? We're trying to find when the parabola, which is the left side, is less than or equal to 0. So we're trying to find when are the y values less than or equal to 0. Can you see that this section here is true, but these ones, the y values are bigger, they're going to be false. In parabolas, does it make sense that these will always alternate? True, false, true, false, true, false. Okay? When you get into grade 12 pre-calculus, you will sometimes have true, true, false, 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 true, true. You could have different things happen when you get into calculus. But for now, they're going to alternate. But you can't assume in the rest of your life that it's always going to alternate. Okay? Oh, I can think of one where it's not going to alternate for a parabola. Look at this. What happens if my parabola looked like this? Then on my number line, I have only one x-intercept. And it could be true, true, or false, false, depending on what the question is. So now we've done this, we need to write our solution. Again, we're going to practice our set notation and our interval notation. That's a triangle. That's a circle. And there's the white box. So in set notation, it goes from -1/3 to 3, and this time we'll have the equal sign in there because our dots were filled in. In interval notation, it goes from -1/3 comma to 3, and this time we will use square brackets to indicate that -1 is included, and to indicate, or sorry, -1/3 is included, and to indicate that 3 is included. So again, you've seen that notation in domain and range, and now we see it again in our solutions here. Okay. This is a very big triangle. I should have got a sponsorship for this question. The questions for homework are 7. This question brought to you by cherry flavored stuff. If I put this on YouTube, I think 7-Eleven should send me at least one free Slurpee in there.